once again to Wednesdays with Larijuana. Every Wednesday, right here on CannaWannaBuy.com, we bring you the latest information on adult use and medical marijuana from all over the globe. This week, from HighTimesMagazine.com, can secondhand weed smoke cause you to fail a drug test? Can you flunk your drug test by simply being in the same room with other tokers? It's possible. So say the results of a new study published in the Journal of Analytical Toxicology. Investigators at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore assessed the impact of secondhand marijuana smoke exposure on 6 non-smoking subjects. Each of the subjects spent 60 minutes in a sealed chamber with limited or no ventilation, while 6 other subjects smoked pot of various strengths. Following their exposure, the non-smokers produced a series of urine specimens over the next 34 hours. These specimens were tested for the presence of carboxy-THC, the primary metabolite screened for in workplace drug testing programs. All 6 participants completed 3 separate sessions in the chamber. Research reported that the exposure to secondhand smoke in this environment resulted in the detectable presence of carboxy-THC in urine. Multiple presumptive positive results for non-smokers occurred by immunoassay at the 20 nanogram per milliliter cutoff concentration across the 3 exposure sessions, authors wrote. The first appearance of presumptive positive initial test resulted in 20 nanogram per milliliter. The cutoff concentration occurred in specimens collected within 1 to 4 hours following exposure. Following the appearance of the first presumptive positives, individuals continued to test positive for up to 2 to 22 hours, end quote. 20 nanograms per milliliter is the standard threshold used in confirmatory workplace urine test protocols, often referred to as GC/MS tests. By contrast, screening assays for carboxy-THC at the 50 nanogram per milliliter threshold, the standard cutoff for a preliminary workplace drug test, only yielded a single positive sample, which was recorded 4 hours following the subject's secondhand smoke exposure. Authors noted that this participant possessed a comparatively high body mass index compared to other participants. Because carboxy-THC is fat-soluble, subjects with higher BMI may be more likely to test positive for its presence for prolonged periods of time. So, does this mean that hanging out with your pot-smoking roomies will cause you to flunk your upcoming drug test? Probably not, concluded the study's authors, since most people won't be in situations where they are facing GC/MS testing within the hours immediately following such extreme environmental exposure. Cannabis potency and room ventilation were demonstrated to be 2 major factors in determining the extent of cannabis smoke exposure to non-smokers residing in close proximity to smokers. Is what they determined. Whether the test results for non-smokers would be reported as positive or negative will be highly dependent upon the sensitivity of initial and confirmatory tests and related reporting criteria. Overall, these results indicate that extreme smoke exposure can produce positive tests at lower cutoff concentrations, but not generally at the higher initial test cutoff concentration in general use by the SAMHSA's mandatory guidelines for federal workplace drug testing programs. So, all in all, you're taking your chances, of course, if you're hanging out and you need to take a drug test for work. So, advise is that try not to hang out if you need to take a drug test. Anyway, otherwise, I think you're probably safe. Now, don't forget, Canna Wanna Buy has great products for users of cannabis, whether you're in the medical program, recreational, whether you're a dispensary or a head shop. Great products, fast shipping, and great prices. Don't forget my medical marijuana radio show every Saturday night, 7 p.m. We're live That's Mountain Time, 6 on the West Coast and 9 on the East. Replays anytime at mmjradio.com. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.